I haven't been recording this yet. Okay, so they're self-selected. There's random. What's random sampling? Choose a random thing. So there's just a blind, like pulling a name out of a hat. Okay. What about convenience? If I told you guys what a convenience is, what do you think convenience would be? Something easy for the person that's doing it. One of the things that I had to do as in getting my master's degree was to write my thesis. I had to use a sample. Okay, and I had to make a decision based on that sample. Now, I used a convenient sample because I used my classes. That's convenient to me. I didn't broadcast that out to the world to have it randomly generated back to me. If I ever were to go to try to get my PhD, I would have to send out thousands of surveys and hopefully getting so many back. Okay? That would be more like a random or maybe a convenient or systematic type. And the last type would be systematic. What's a systematic sample? Like a systematic would be like if I were to choose like every other person. Or take a phone book out and go, I'm going to choose every fifth person. That's a systematic. It has a rule. Okay? That's what that means. If you have some kind of thing where you have a system down for it, saying, hey, I'm only going to choose this person every 5 times or every 10th person or whatever, that's a systematic sample. Random, meaning everybody has an equal chance. Convenience, you guys are an example of a convenient sample. Sometimes when I ask you guys, what do you guys want to do for whether we do evens or odds on worksheets, for instance, I'm using you guys as a convenient sample because you guys are the ones that are right in front of me. I ask you, and then that's what the rest of the other 2 classes get. Okay? So that's what sampling is. There's also other types of sampling that we need to have or talk about. We need to talk about unbiased as compared to biased. Now, they define unbiased as representative of the population you want information about, and a sample that overrepresents or underrepresents part of the population is a biased sample. There are times, especially now in this state, we have the legislature is going on right now, our legislative session is going on. Do they have samples going on every day to lobby for bills? Yeah. Are some of them biased and unbiased? Absolutely. There's a lot of times when if I were to be a senator, for instance, and I wanted my bill to be passed, do you think I'd pick the people that I want to be up there lobbying for it and giving testimony about it? That might be a biased sample, wouldn't it? Like if I had something that would impact the oil company and make it better for them, do you think I would probably have those guys do it and they might be biased towards it because it would be beneficial to them? Absolutely. Okay, so that's an example of a biased sample where it only does certain things. Part of your assignment today is going to be deciding what kind of sampling method was done and whether it was biased or unbiased. It's not a math problem. What it is we're going to say what type of these four over here are going to happen, and then if it's whether or not it's biased or unbiased. You're going to be read a little passage, and you got to figure out what it is. So here's one of their examples that they had. It said senior class prom, which is prom season nowadays, so I like to do this one. You are a member of the prom committee. You want to poll members of the senior class to find out where they want to hold prom. There are 324 students in the senior class. Describe a method from selecting a random sample of 40 seniors to poll. As far as that way goes, how would you do it? If you want to poll 40 seniors and you have 324 to choose from, Zoe, what would you do? Don't know? If you have 324 people to choose from, and you needed 40 people, how would you pick them? let me give you your options. Are you going to hand pick them? Is it going to be like maybe in one of your classes? Would you have a rule written down like every fifth person? Or would you just randomly generate the list from the office? Okay. Let's just say that we don't have an opinion. We're unbiased. You would do random? So how would you say that? So Zoe says random. How would you get the random number? Okay? You might put all the names in a hat, right? Or attach a number to them. And then randomly pick a number, right? That's what you need to write. What they're going to ask you to do is they're going to ask you to tell me a scenario what you would use. Now, Zoe, you picked random. Caleb, would you use a random sample? No. What would you use? What do you mean by self-selected?
They'll volunteer.
They volunteer. Right. That could happen, right? Doesn't that happen all the time? Where it says anybody who wants to become a member of this, please show up at this time? I think I've read that announcement I don't know how many different times for different groups. That'd be a self-selected sample. All right? What would be a systematic way of doing it?
Taking their GPA times 2 divided by their ACT score, and then the highest numbers.
Okay. Huh? So if you took the number of people you had divided by 40, and then every so many people, or that person, okay, good. Now the nice thing about this whole thing is that we just came up with 3 different scenarios, and which one's right? All of them. You make one up for you that you want. Okay? Now, another part that they want you to do is they want you to tell me what kind of sample it is. Here's one for you. A sports writer wants to survey college baseball coaches about whether they think wooden bats should be mandatory throughout college baseball.
Yes.
The sports writer contacts only coaches that he has cell phone numbers for in order to get quick responses. What type is that? Convenient. Because he has that type, right? He has their information. What about if a sports writer mails out surveys to all the coaches and uses only the ones that are returned? That's self-selected because those people wanted to have an opinion in it, right? It's not random. It's close, but not everybody turned it in. If every single coach would have returned it and then he would have picked it out of that group, then that's a random. You're going to have to tell me what type they are. Now, the second thing that's involved in this thing is talking about margin of error. You are going to have a margin of error. Anytime you're dealing with statistics of any type, you will have some error involved. The margin of error formula is plus or minus 1 over the square root of n. Where n is referred to the large population. So, here's what they're going to do. It's going to say, find the margin of error. Find the margin of error for a survey that has the given sample size. Round your answer to the nearest tenth of a percent. So we're going to do it in percent form. It says for number 6 that you have 260 people. So as far as the margin of error goes, we're going to put 1 over the square root of 260. I don't have a calculator on me right now, but I would like someone to do that for me. What'd you get, Hannah? 0.062. Now, that's not the percent form. That is the decimal form. And it wants you to tell me the percent form. So what do you do to get it in percent form? Boom, boom. And my answer is plus or minus 6.2%. Number 7 says I have 1,000 people that I'm surveying. So maybe just every student in the school. 1 divided by the square root of 1,000. What number do you get? 0.032. And if I round or move it 2 spaces over, what percent do I get? Plus or minus 3.2%. Done. I take the sample size, and that goes in the square root on the bottom. Move the decimal 2 places over so you get the percent. And you're done. Now the last grouping that's going to have it, now they're going to give you the percent and want you to work backwards. It says find the sample size required to achieve the margin of error. Round your answer to the nearest whole number. And on 15, it gives us plus or minus 3%. Now what that margin of error is saying with the plus or minus is just saying that I can go 3% above or beyond or below it. Okay? So first of all, I'm going to take 0.03 because I'm making it into a decimal equals 1 over the square root of n. That's my formula. How would you solve for n? Okay, we can't. I don't want to square it just yet. I want to multiply it by the square root of n because I don't want fractions anymore. That cancels that out. Then, in order to solve for n, I'd have to divide by 0.3 to both sides. That gives me the square root of n equals 1 over 0.03. So I want you to figure this out right now, you guys. Instead of doing this every time, could I set this up this way? Could I take 1 divided by the percent? Okay, just so that you guys are aware of it. Every problem's like that. Now, how would you get rid of the square root? Square it. So I need someone to take 1 divided by 0.03, get an answer, and then square that answer. And tell me how many people there are. I can't hear you, Denise. That's number 15. Oh, gosh, we're almost done. Do you want to do one more or not? That's as hard as they get. The first set, you're going to tell me what kind of sample and if it's biased or unbiased. The second set gives you the number of people, put it in the formula, tell me what percent was margin of error. Third set, you have the margin of error, find out how many people are in the sample. On this page, we're going to go 769 to 770, 3 through 21. Tired still.
I was extremely tired yesterday and I didn't do anything yesterday. Today is me picking up.
I do. We are... Tomorrow's Thursday, right?
Yeah.
We're right here already.
Oh, wait. No, I'll be here Thursday. I just need Fridays.
Okay. It'll probably be chapter review. It's already done with chapter after tomorrow. I'll give it to you tomorrow for sure.
Okay.
This is a really short one. You know that, Mark?
Is this our last one?
No, we got one more. Tomorrow.
That's another day. That is another day.
Did you write down the assignment?
I did.
Nobody made a comment on it.